I will be discussing the anatomy of form by placing all the tools what I have. If you want to perform any action, so we will be using button, right? When it comes to the text box, in the properties, I can change single line, multiple line. Hello everyone, I welcome all of you to the yet another interesting session in .NET programming language. So guys, what I have in this session to all of you, yes, I will be discussing some of the important tools that we have in the .NET programming language is what I would like to tell you at this point of time. So fine, in the previous session, we have discussed some of the important topics that's going to be on forms. Do you all remember? If you have not watched that, please go back and check what we have discussed in the forms. Alright, so along with that, I have also discussed some of the tools, but I have not discussed that in detail in the previous session. I think it's the time for all of us to understand the different tools that we have. So let me check what is that I have in my basket. So guys, I will be discussing these topics in this session. So what exactly radio button is all about? What exactly the button is all about? Sir, why radio is missing? Because somebody is playing the radio. That's why radio is missing here. So guys, jokes apart. Along with that, I will be discussing the anatomy of form by placing all the tools what I have. So I will also discuss the anatomy of the forms once again, though I have discussed that in my previous session. Alright, along with that, I will also discuss rich text, what exactly rich text is all about, calendar, how do I use calendar, list box and group box. This is going to be the very important session. So I will be introducing all of these tools to all of you. So right, let's start with the first one. So guys, the first thing that you have to do is you have to open the toolbox. So I'm just going to the second step. What we have discussed in the previous thing is the first step. I think all of you know how to open the project and how to open the form. All right. So keeping that in mind, I will directly go to the second option. So you have to click on the toolbox. In the toolbox, if you just scroll, you will have to look for radio button. So you will get the option called radio button. So what exactly radio button control is doing? So guys, what exactly radio button, how exactly it looks? So all of you would have seen some buttons like this, okay, with circle. You all remember that? So this is what I will call it as a radio button. So I will be placing this radio button. The speciality of the radio button is all about, I can select only one option. I cannot select, say for example, radio button 1 is there, radio button 2 is there, 3 is there. So among these 3, I will be able to select only one. So that is the speciality of radio button. But sir, what do I do? Suppose if I want to select multiple option, 2 options I have to select. So what is that I can do? What are the tools that I can use? There is something. Observe. Probably you would have seen the square boxes. Do you all remember the square boxes? Like, you will be selecting like this, right? So this is what I will call as a checkbox. Checkbox enables me to select multiple options. But when it comes to the radio button, I will be able to select only one. When it comes to the gender, okay, you cannot select multiple options, right? You will be able to select only one. In the same way, so in that particular context, I will be using radio button. So fine, you will just drag and drop to the form. That's it, you will not do anything. So fine, you will get the radio button like this. Click, right click on this, go to the property, change the name. So like what you did with the label, same thing, change the name of this radio button, whatever the text that you have, go to the text and change the text, whatever you want it to appear. Say for example, I want it to come as a male. So go to the text, change it as a male. So that will get reflected here. So like that, you will keep changing the text. This is how we use the radio button. And also same thing for the checkbox. All right. So moving forward to the next one that we have. Button. Okay, the next thing is button. Again, you will go to the toolbox and then you will look for the button. All right, so when it comes to the button, so what happens? What is the use of button? If you want to perform any action, so we will be using button, right? So what exactly button? How exactly it looks? So guys, able to see this? I have given OK. So able to see this? This is what I will call it as a button. Probably you would have seen submit, login, cancel, all those things I will call it as a button. To perform some action, I will be using the button is what you need to remember. So I just have to drag and I have to drop it in the form. That's what I have to do it. So this is all about the button. So if I want to change anything, so guys, I will be using the message box. Message box.show. So hello world within the double quotes I have given. So that is getting displayed here. So where? So the button name is a button 1. Okay, so that's what you need to remember. You can also customize the name of this button. Right click properties. When you go to the properties, for each and every element what you have, you can change the property. That is the most important thing that you need to remember. So fine. So when you go to the properties, you can customize whatever you have. Okay. So instead of okay, you can change it as login. You can change it as submit. You can change it as cancel. So what is that you have to do? When I click this is what you can specify here. That's what you need to remember. When I click here, this message should be displayed here. That's what I have configured here. That's what you need to remember with respect to the button. Moving forward to the next one that we have, anatomy. Okay, so guys, let me just show you. So whatever I have here, so this is what I will call it as a label. I have used label. In the beginning class, I have shown you. So I will be just using the label. I will go to the right click, properties of this label, and then I will change the text as username. So like that, I have given this also. How many labels I have used? I have used 2 labels. That's what you need to remember. What do I call this? I will call this as text boxes. Same thing, go to the properties here or the toolbox. Okay, you will find the text box, just drag and drop to the form. That's what you will be doing. All right, so fine. How many text boxes I have? I have 2 text boxes. So for this text box, I can also create the ID. You need to uniquely identify this text box, right click, property, go to the ID. So you can easily identify the text box, which is this and which is this. Say for example, I can give name for this. Say for example, txt1 or txt2. Like this, you can specify the ID. The name for this text box is what you need to remember. And also, when it comes to the text box, in the properties, I can change single line, multiple line, and the content, whatever you want. You can also make it as password, like, dots. So all those properties, you can change it when it comes to the text box. Please remember that when it comes to the text box. All right. So then this is what I will call it as a button. So which we have already discussed. So this is how the simple elements what we have discussed. I have just placed it in the form and I'm trying to show you. Along with that, we also have some control called rich text to retain the format. Say for example, whatever the format that you wanted to have. All right. So that format, you can just retain it. Say for example, bold, italic, underline, all those things you can specify it here, but it is not possible in the text box. But when it comes to the rich text, you can customize the different properties of the text. All right. So that's what you need to remember when it comes to the rich text control. How do you do it? So go to the toolbox, just drag and drop. That's it. Very simple. And then I also have the calendar. Okay. So calendar is also there in the toolbox. You will have to just drag and drop. So if you just select the value, automatically the value will get selected and where you want to place it. So you can also write the code so you can display the value whatever you have selected. That's what you need to remember with respect to the calendar. And more importantly, guys, when it comes to the list box, what happens is it will just give you the preview. So whatever you want, you can just click on that and you can just select it. But when it comes to the combo box, there is a slight difference. Okay, when it comes to the combo box, you will not get the preview. So observe here, when it comes to the combo box, I have an option called drop down. Okay, when it comes to the drop down, what happens is all the list or the options, whatever you have given, so it will be there. Okay, if I just click on this arrow, so everything will come here. Whatever I select, only that will be displayed here. So this is the speciality that we have with respect to the combo box, is what you need to remember. But when it comes to the list box, it will just give you the preview of all the options what you have. So that's the most important thing that you need to remember. So guys, with this, I have come to an end of this session. I will also show you the implementation of this in the coming classes. Thank you. Bye-bye.